Let's go to Victoria now. The Jacinta Allen Labor government has announced it would legislate work from home rights. My next guest will explain why this is apparently smart politics. I'm joined by Redbridge Group Director Simon Welsh. Simon, thanks so much for your time. Of course, good politics is one thing, whether it's sensible policy is a whole other thing, but explain the politics behind it.
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Yeah, it's a really interesting issue. It works at a couple of levels. So it works at this sort of first really obvious level, which you and I have to sort of discuss around the federal election when it came to work from home, which is work from home has become a cost of living measure. You know, as family budgets and household budgets have come under increasing pressure, you know, working from home saves people a significant amount of money, and it's become a particularly important thing for the breadwinners in the household that also have caring responsibilities, which still overwhelmingly happens to be women. So it's become this quite gendered issue. So really smart retail politics on those two levels. But there's a deeper thing going on here, which makes it really interesting. And I think this is where the sort of the cleverness of the politics comes in, is what we hear in our groups for years on end now has been this sense that, you know, big businesses have become quite exploitative of, you know, middle class, working class families. But there's this view that, you know, business will do what business does. Business will get away with whatever business is allowed to get away with. And that's the key word, allowed to get away with. So what people say is business will do that, but we expect the government will step in to, you know, tilt the scales back in our favour a little bit, or at least kind of try and keep it a bit of an even playing field. And, you know, a lot of the political volatility we've seen over recent years is because government is not seen to have done that. People really mark down government on those measures for a whole bunch of reasons, which won't bore you with here. But what this potentially does is provide a bit of a rebalancing of this scale. They seem to be doing something for middle class, working class families, you know, and it's not in favour of the employer as such. So what that does then is, that's all fine and good if you're doing something easy. But what voters really mark you up for is if you do that when it's hard, if you do it when it's tough. So when you sort of see, you know, business and potentially other political parties coming out and then bashing the government for doing this, it actually enhances the political benefit of this, because what voters sort of see in their mind is, wow, they're willing to take some flack for me and my interests, and therefore sort of the scorecard goes up a little bit. So I think that's the really fascinating political dynamic around this, which is, you know, the opposition to it is actually going to strengthen the political sort of benefit of it. And it's also, I think, an interesting dynamic that could also apply in the tax space as well. You know, as the government's heading into, you know, all this talk about productivity and tax reform and all those sorts of things, the same dynamic exists there too.